4 years. That is all it takes for Bitcoin to go through a cycle of a 1-year parabolic bull market, a 1-year devastating bear market, and then 2 years of a mix of bull, bear, and flat sideways movements, but with an overall trend of up. They call this the Bitcoin 4-year cycle, and ever since Bitcoin began, it has followed the cycle to a T. Is this cycle going to be the same, or is the 4-year cycle going to be broken for the very first time? We'll find out in about 10 minutes, because it's time for Chico Crypto. Yeah, one of the simplest Bitcoin features is very hard for no-coiners to fully grasp: the 4-year halving cycle. Every 4 years, the reward per block for Bitcoin is cut in half, making the asset that much more scarce and creating a sense of urgency in the markets, leading to a bullish parabolic run. Checking out this video of the price of BTC in comparison with the number of Bitcoin mined and the halving events. After each halving event, BTC ends up going bananas. After the first, this was true. After the second, this was also true. And after the third, it happened once again. And guess what? According to NiceHash's BTC halving clock, we are just 300 days away from the next BTC halving, meaning if the 4-year cycle is correct, the parabolic cycle is on the horizon. We just need to hodl on for another year or so. But is the 4-year cycle correct? Well, here is a great chart which paints the 4-year cycle theory extremely well. As we can see, after the 2013 parabolic cycle, there was a 1-year devastating bear market that lasted throughout 2014. But by 2015, things started to turn around, where we had 2 years of sideways, a mix of bearish and bullish movements up and down, up until the beginning of 2017, followed by a 1-year parabolic cycle that lasted throughout 2017. After 2017's parabolic run, BTC went into another devastating bear market that lasted throughout 2018. Then from 2019 to the beginning of 2021, we had that mix of sideways, bearish, and bullish movements, which led into the parabolic run throughout 2021. We can see throughout 2022, we had another devastating bear market, and this was where the chart ends. So through 2023 so far, has Bitcoin gone sideways and had a mix of bearish and bullish movements? Although with an overall uptrend, of course it has. Adding on to what has happened throughout 2023, we can see it started out a bit sideways, and since we have had a mixture of bullish runs and then a little bit bearish runs, but overall the uptrend has been bullish, just like in the past. Here is a table that shows the 4-year cycles even clearer based on annual returns since 2011. As we can see, throughout 2011 to 2013, all bullish years, with 2013 being the parabolic madness. Then 2014 was that devastating bear market, end of 4-year cycle. 2015 bullish, 2016 bullish, and 2017 was the parabolic year. 2018 devastating bear market, end of cycle. 2019 bullish, 2020 bullish, 2021 parabolic year, and finally 2022 a devastating bear market, end of cycle. And throughout 2023 so far, BTC from its low in January has pumped by about 61% year to date. Remember what I always say on this channel: the more things change, the more they stay the same. And from the looks of it, the 4-year cycle is playing out once again. But don't take my word on this. How about taking the word of the creator of the 4-year cycle theory, Bob Loukas, a renowned trader who doesn't only focus on Bitcoin, but has been trading for over 25 years in gold, Forex, US equities, and oil. Bob has been the most accurate Bitcoin predictor of all time due to his 4-year cycle theory. Going to Bob's YouTube channel, we can see he doesn't post very often, every couple of months or so, but when he does, they are always bangers due to his accuracy in his calls. And Bob just posted 2 days ago with the video, the most difficult part of the bull market. It's a 25-minute video and I highly recommend you watch it. I've included it down in the description, but for those of you who don't have 25 minutes, I'm going to summarize it up for the next 4 minutes or so of this video. In the first part of the video, Bob summarizes his previous videos where he confirmed the December bottom and that another 4-year cycle was indeed beginning.
Again, here we are on the monthly. We had that video from December where I said, good chance we're going to form a low right here. We're in the timing band. It seemed like all the selling and the liquidations, the capitulation was over with, and we were at a point where the market was ready to begin a new cycle. And of course we had that, and then the last video, I believe it was in March, a couple of months ago, confirmed that 4-year cycle low with that follow through and carry through here well above that 10-month moving average. That candle right there represented a confirmation of a new 4-year cycle.
Bob then talks about why this beginning phase is the most difficult part of a bull market and that volatility was indeed coming.
The reason why it's the most difficult portion of a bull market is because after only 3 or 4 candles, it's difficult to yet buy in fully that we're in a new bull phase. And that's mostly related to the bear market component of a 4-year cycle. This repetitive declining part of the cycle here inflicts on almost everybody, financial and significant damage in general. But more importantly, what being early to a cycle affords you is the ability to get into a very strong position at a very low rate that will allow you to really weather the volatility that inherently will come in these cycles, especially with Bitcoin, which has a history of retracing back 25, 35, and 45% on a fairly frequent basis.
Bob then gets into some speculation about where he sees the price moving throughout this 4-year cycle we are in now.
For here, it's really the same kind of thing. We're looking out 2 to 3 years and we're looking at higher prices, at least a price close to that all-time high, but obviously or ideally at an all-time high like the prior cycles have done. So when you look at that sort of a year or year and a half out, you kind of get to the summer or the fall of 2024 and you look for a price at the 48,000 level.
Bob thinks by the time of the halving, BTC should move up to around $48,000. But then based on his time box he draws, we can get an idea of where he thinks the peak could be. As we can see, the top of his box puts the price at about $180,000. Bob then gets into the path to those bullish prices and the box. How is it going to happen? Let's listen in.
And we could easily, over the next few months, come all the way back down to the low $20,000 level, maybe the high teens again, and then come back up and get to the box, right? Or we may do something similar to what we did in this last cycle here, where we first came up over 4 or 5 months, came up high, and then spent a few months, 6 months, 7 months, and then we came up, right? There are multiple paths to getting there, and if you focus on the week to week and the month to month, then each of these volatility events that occur are going to throw you off and take your eyes off the goal of being in position for the duration of the cycle to be able to take the maximum amount out of this cycle.
Bob's just explaining that there are many paths to getting to the price. No one knows exactly what will happen. You gotta not focus on the week to week, day to day, and be thrown off, but focus on the price. Eventually, we will get to those higher prices. Next, Bob gets deeper into the volatility and why getting to the price isn't as easy as it seems, using the history of past cycles.
In this last 4-year cycle, I believe there was 6 events of around 20 to sort of 63% declines. We had numerous events. Some of those were very big, 54% decline, 63% decline. on the way to the peak of the cycle, and then more, I think importantly, in the 2015 to the 2017, December 17 highs. Although when you look at this, it was a fairly consistent grind to a steepening top, to a blow off top. Along that way, very consistently, 3 times per year, in fact, around every 4 months, fairly consistently, Bitcoin dropped 30 to 35% on average. These events will happen not just once or twice, but all the way up towards that box, that time frame. We've only had one small sort of 20% event more recently, but I think very soon, perhaps just given historically how it's performed, we will see 30 and 40% declines. A 30 or 40% decline, even from this point, for example, would send Bitcoin right back down to around 19,000.
And finally, Bob says what traders should be doing right now, even with the possibility of a big dump coming.
What we need to understand is that those events will occur, and if you have that bearish sentiment or that fear that's still built up, that is going to compound the effect of an event of 30 or 40% decline in Bitcoin. It's essentially going to lead you to panic your position and sell that position right when, in fact, in the early phase of a 4-year cycle, you probably need to be looking to add to your position if your position is not of the right size at this point.
Adding to your positions, aka accumulating in these early 4-year cycle days. That's what I'm doing. Cheers, viewers. I'll see you next time.